Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Charlie. Today I'm going to continue repairing my tripod smartphone mount using AI. So, this time the broken part is more complex. So I'm not sure if it will work. So let's see how the AI handles it. And my goal is to help AI understand everything from the overall shape to the details. So I think the most important thing is to get the general shape right first. So once that's correct, the rest of the process will be much faster. Well, I think before describing the overall shape, I think maybe I can just send the different views to the AI and see how the AI can understand the 3D structure. In my opinion, it is also a L-shaped part, but not only a sheet. Maybe it is a solid L-shaped part. I don't know, I'm not sure. Okay, so let me take the pictures. I think this view, the top view and the side view, will help AI understand the 3D structure the best. Okay, from several turns of conversation with Claude, I just send these views to Claude and ask it to use build123D library to help me model a broken part of my tripod smartphone mount. Here are some views about this part. You can try your best to write a model code. The last image shows the broken spot like this. So the overall shape of this part looks like a solid L shape, okay? So and the clock thinks for a while, and really good. It interpreted every image. The ridiculous thing is that it gives me the STL file. Oh my god! But I just expected the Python, so I copy the Python code to the VS Code because there is a OCP CAD viewer. Okay, so let's go back to see the real piece. Okay, you can see, I think the overall shape is okay. It's really an L-shaped solid piece. And wow, these two blocks are already here, like that. So I think it's great. It's great. You can see there is also a through hole, but it's not the same as the actual part, but it doesn't matter. I think this is just the first turn. Wow, it really has a rail, but it is smooth here. The actual piece is smooth here. It doesn't have a rail. The rail is here. The rail is here. It's just lower than the outer edge. But the next thing is we need to ask AI to fix some extra and useful geometric features. Next thing we need to do is just reduce these extra edge. Okay, let's do it. It doesn't work. Yes, I failed on this experiment. It seems it is a big challenge for the current large language model. I just tried on Claude, and after many times to adjust the prompt again and again, it still can't give me a correct model. Even a overall shape, it can't do the right result. So, I found that maybe 3D modeling is still a big challenge for current large language model, and it really makes me to think about how our human do the 3D modeling work in CAD software, CAD software. I got stuck in a very small feature, in my opinion, that is this step. In this shell structure, there is a step in the inner side of the shell, but the lower step is across all this edge. But the language model can't understand it right. The AI always said it understood it confidently, but actually the result is always have some incorrections. I think if I modeled this part myself, I think it would took me less than 30 minutes. But I spent more than 2 hours with AI, and eventually it can give me a general correct answer. Well, so it really make me think about how we do the 3D modeling work in a CAD software. The large language model is just the language model, but our human do the modeling in CAD software, through the user interface. We operate, we use the mouse and the keyboards to operate the user interfaces in the CAD software. But actually, we need to understand the structure. It's not just about drawing a shape in the CAD software. It means we need, for human designer, we need to understand every geometric feature, and it's not just the only one thing we need to do. It is just the first one, to notice the geometric feature and then understand it. We need to understand how the parts assemble together, how the different parts connect, and what the function of every geometric serves. I think it is very important for a 3D modeling operator, but it really needs reasoning from the geometric feature to the function understanding, and finally convert them to the operations in the CAD software. So it means modeling a 3D structure is not just a one step. It really looks like the common coding task. In maybe 2 years ago, most of people don't believe the AI can handle a complicated coding task. But today, most people believe that. I think the 3D modeling is just a chain of different kinds of operations. But I think for AI, I think the AI is proficient with the final process, that is coding, maybe less than 1 year or 2 years. I think AI can handle the 3D modeling in near future. So, but I believe AI can handle this kind of task because 3D modeling process still has a pattern. And I think everything has patterns, can be learned by neural network. This conclusion is just from my today's this one-time experiment. Maybe there is some limitations to me, so maybe I don't know how to describe the geometric feature precisely in words, or maybe I just chose the wrong model, maybe. And maybe I can just do the whole press, one by one step. I mean, maybe I shouldn't ask AI to give me the whole code of the overall shape. Maybe I can just get the general shape at first and then do every geometric feature. But I really followed this approach, but it doesn't work. But I will continue this experiment. I will try with other AI like Gemini. And I forgot to say that I have tried, in this experiment, I also tried to draw some lines on the snapshot to let AI understand what I pointed, but it still doesn't work. But this is still a very valuable experiment and experience. Okay, so thanks for watching and see you in the next one.